Talk a little bit about the control on the Phoenix, a little bit about the buttons on here, what their purposes are, of course what the display means and what you're seeing in the screen, and ultimately what we'll show you is how to put the unit in service mode and do some startup and some testing. Initially what you see on here, of course, is the display. What we see is 95, which is actually your set point temperature. So whatever number we have this unit set to is going to appear in the box. It's not going to show you actual temperature, it's going to show you set point temperature. The other thing that we see on here, of course, is our 4 buttons, and these buttons are critical for the operation, to see some status, to get us into some test mode. So we're going to go through a little bit of them and how they work. They're labeled, so we can see right here where we have S1 minus, S2 plus, S3 temperature, and S4 reset / status. So again, when we take a look at these buttons, we've also labeled as to what they can do for you. So when we push S2 and S3 together, this will activate our service mode, and this is critical for doing our startup to get our combustion testing, and this will set the fan speed and hold it steady until you either move it up and down with the minus and the plus buttons. To exit service mode, we simply press S1 and S2 together. So again, S2 and S3 to get in, and S1 and S2 to get out. We also have S3 temp, which if we press and hold, will show us our set point temperature. Presently we have it set to 95. If I'd like to increase, I would certainly hit the plus button, and to reduce it, I would use the minus button. To remove from this menu, we just simply press S3 again. We'll give our domestic hysteresis, which is a differential temperature that the tank is looking at, to refire. And then we have a temperature switchover, Celsius to Fahrenheit. And one more time, control will click, and we'll be back to reading our normal temperature. S4 reset / status button. Of course, S4 reset would be, of course, if the unit goes into a fault code, we need to clear that fault code and allow the machine to try. Simply press S4 for a couple seconds, code will clear, back to read and set point temperature, machine will try to initiate a sequence. The other thing the S4 button does for us is it gives us our status menu. The status menu gives our system parameters effectively. It will tell us our upper and lower temperatures, some fan speeds, and some other information that we want to know. We can simply press and hold this button for 3 seconds. And the first thing we should see is D1. D1 is our upper temperature sensor located towards the top of the tank, and that is going to show us the temperature up there. We're going to use S4 to toggle through our screens and go to the next one, which would be D2. That is our lower temperature sensor located down low in the tank, and of course that is reading the temperature down there. The control uses these 2 set points to gauge where the tank is and where we need to be, and to set some rhythms and things like that. So if we need to know what the tank is sort of doing up and down, take a look at D1, D2. D3 and D4 in this machine are not used, so typically you will see NC, or you may see no numbers, or it may be blank, but it's not applicable. D5 is our outdoor temperature. This unit, when used for space heating, does have the ability to do some what we call outdoor reset, where we can vary the temperature in the tank. And it's very helpful when we're doing some space heating, not used when it's a domestic standalone, but certainly is an option for doing space heating. So this will tell us what the temperature is outside. D6, when the machine is running, will show us our fan speed, and it of course will show us where it is, and if it's running at all. Of course right now it's showing 0, so the fan speed is not on. D7 is ionization or flame proving. This is critical. The control is looking at this number to stay fired, so when we see this number dip down, there's a few things we're going to look for, so that tells us what our control is seeing off that flame signal. D8, D9 not used. D10, again, NC not connected, not used. D11 is overall set point. When you look at D11, that is going to tell you what the tank is set point, the internal temperature. What our S3 program button is set to will show you in D11. D12, D13, D14, and D15 are runtime hours, power on hours, and things like that, as noted in the manual. And once again, we're back to D1. To exit this manual is simply press and hold S3 for 3 seconds. Control is cleared and back to normal operation.